Okay, so basically here is everything that's included in your kit. You're going to get, with the starter kit, 2 batteries with the little gold design on them. Quite frankly, I'm not a fan of the gold design. A small EM4 or something up here between the button and the threads would have been nicer. And I've seen a lot of these little gold whiskey smoke decorations on these. That must be a very common thing from the factory. It might be the only kind they offer, who knows. You get 2 atomizers. Now, these little atomizer protectors, I'd call them cartridges, but they're not. They work as a mouthpiece, but there is no innards. If you look, you can see straight through it. Nothing in there. 2 little atomizers and charger, which this is a growing trend, I've noticed. Rather than being plug in the wall and then screw in the battery type charger, it is basically just a USB adapter, which I'm sure they found somewhere in bulk cheap. 500 milliamps for all the difference that it makes. It'll never approach that while charging. And then a small, well, basically USB charger that plugs into that. You have your battery. It threads in that regard, it's superior. I do not like the ones you just push in. The thread-in ones are far superior, in my opinion. And then when you go to charge it, let me find a cord here. When you go to charge it, plug it in. Basically, you have a small red light that tells you, you have power. This light should not change, to my knowledge. Now, you put this in. You have a little light here. It's green. And you'll notice this starts blinking. That tells you that your charge has started, and it turns to red. When it is almost charged, it will switch, it will alternate back and forth between red and green. There's what charged would look like. That is the green there. And we get that in the middle. Make sure everybody sees that. Okay, now we take a battery that should be charged. Thread that in carefully. Get that in the middle where we can see what's going to happen. You thread that in, wait for the confirmation blinks. It's a protection circuit saying it noticed the charger, and the light, as you see, turns red. I guess this one wasn't fully charged either. Anyway, when they are fully charged, this will turn a solid green and stay that way. If you notice that it's green, then red, then green, then red, and there's a little time in there between, that means you are just that close. You are really almost there. So be patient. Just about made it. Now, about the atomizer. This is the thing's strong suit. These batteries are pitiful. They're tiny. They should be pitiful. You expect that. But they probably last you an hour or two, probably 2. If you just go crazy, they're going to last less. But they're not supposed to last that long. This isn't, the workhorse device. This is a flavor trail here. This is a device for enjoying the flavor. And consequently, it's very good for what I plan to do with it. An atomizer, take the little mouthpiece off. The atomizer has this little steel mesh, I don't know, stainless, nickel, who knows. Inside of the atomizer, you'll notice a bit of ceramic. Let me get the zoom working on this, because in my opinion, this kind of thing is important. You get right up there, and let's see if I can't improve that focus just a touch. And that's really about the best I can do. If you look, you'll see white. That keeps the atomizer's wick, centered and upright and not collapsed, which is a good thing, and it's definitely necessary. These things, like a 901, if you hit them very hard at all, if you dropped it, it would just wreck it. And that may save it, and it may not, but it's better with it than without it. Inside, there's ceramic. I'm going to try to get the best shot of that I can, but I just don't think it's possible. But inside there is more ceramic structurally holding the thing together and a small wire that does the atomizing. This is the strong suit of the device. The atomizer is by far and above better than any other device I've tried flavor-wise. Not necessarily vapor production-wise, but definitely flavor-wise. The other thing is that 901s and 510s constantly are leaving you with a mouthful of juice. And one way or another, it's going to happen. This has not done it to me yet, and I've had it for over a week, and I've used it pretty hard. And thus far, it has not failed me in that regard. no mouthfuls of juice, so that's a bonus. Okay, the other thing that came with it was 5 empty cartridges. It came in a little box like this. I have a cartridge here somewhere that I filled and used. No matter how small these cartridges look, you are not prepared for the actual size of the cartridge. It is incredibly small. Now I'm going to pop it out here and show you just how small it really is. That little thing that almost vanished there, that is it. This little guy, that is the entirety of the cartridge. This is just mouthpiece. This little piece here holds this. When you compare that to, say, a 901, here's a 901 cartridge. Now, it does not take a genius to figure out that the size is different, but I can tell already by looking at this, the camera does not catch the true size difference. This cartridge would just about fit and go down in that cartridge with some room to spare and quite a bit of it. It holds 9 drops out of a decaying bottle, which is not very much. So don't get one of these thinking that you're going to leave the house with 1 cartridge and vape all day, because you would be mistaken. This 1 cartridge will last you 20 minutes of pretty hardcore vaping, and then it's over. It's time for another. They come with these little plugs, and this is a good thing because you will be filling a lot of these. If you're going to use the cartridges, most people don't. If you're going to use the cartridges, you are going to bring a lot of them with you. And this little plug, when the cartridge is full, it has, liquid on the little thing here, and basically you pop this out with a paper clip, and it pops right out. Of course, if you do that right side up, which is probably the preferred way, put that back in there the way it goes, we'll do it again. If you get in from underneath and pop that up, you can just catch it with your fingers and pick it right up. The little bit of cloth that's in there, it's batting or something. It looks like fiber fill of some kind. You can take that out. You can drip like 8 drops in it, put the batting back in, and put in your 9th drop. If you're changing flavors, you just really want to wash it. You just take it out of the sink, squish it out a little bit, and pinch the water out of it, and then get your paper towel and mash it until it's gone. It's very easy. And there are probably 100 videos on just how to do that very thing. These little corks are nice. Get that pop back in there, because when you stick it in there, you got to mash it to get it down in there. It forms an airtight seal and keeps that little teeny weeny cartridge sealed up. Because it's sealed on all sides but the end, and now it's sealed on that end as well by that bit of rubber on the end there. It's even got a little juice well in case the temperature changes, somewhere for the juice to go, so it doesn't go leaking back down the mouthpiece and you end up getting a mouthful of it. That has never happened to me yet, so that's pretty amazing. Anyway, long story short, it does not hold the kind of juice that a 901 even does. 510s basically hold the same amount, so same comparison. The battery life is abysmal. Bring several, bring a lot, handful. If you're going to be out all day, bring more than 1. Definitely want a PCC or something. They do make one. I'm not doing the PCC review at this point, but I will go ahead and show it to you. It looks basically like this. Here's the PCC. You got a place for a couple cartridges. This is basically a KR808D1 PCC with different threads right there. As a matter of fact, it is not just basically that, it is exactly that, and it even says so right on the PCC. You rip right in there. Oh, gee, it's an 808 pack. What do you know? Well, you might be tempted to think, if you don't have one at home, that perhaps that's not the case, it's something else. Here's one, and I do believe that when we zoom in and look, 808 pack. Holy cow, it is the same thing. So, basically the same thing with different threads. Doesn't really matter, except for the fact that the KR808D1 will charge about 3 to 4 batteries. This thing, the EM4, will charge a lot more than that. I did 6 before I quit trying to run it out and went ahead and charged it. It would probably do more than 6. I don't know how many more. That was my limit. I didn't need to charge anymore. But anyway, that is an overview of the parts is how the charger works, the atomizers. I think that's got everything. Now let's get back to vaping. I can only talk for so long about vaping, right?